Hi. Welcome back. It's good to see ya. How are you? It's been a while. It has been a while since I've done one of these. But yeah, today is the day that I've had to come back into my beautiful, divine, sacred space. I'm trying to find somewhere whereby the wind does not clock me, because as usual I'm recording this outside. I'm actually doing it in a slightly different spot to usual because I just had the urge. So if you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to double check the sound. See, there's a little bit of feedback, but I think we'll be good. I won't be editing any of this out because I'm too fucking tired to. And also, as I said in episode 1, I'm pretty sure I just want to keep this really raw, really human, because isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? There's a time and a place for everything to be all neat and tidy and pretty, and this is not the time nor the place. I actually want to begin with a poem of mine that I wrote, I think apparently last year, according to the notes app on my phone. And it's really funny because there's a particular line in this poem that just won't leave my brain, and I briefly skimmed over it. I've not actually practiced this. I've not sat and read it fully. I just know that I have a poem with this line in and I want to speak it, so I'm going to do that. So I hope you enjoy. I'm so awkward. Anyways, something ancient stirs within me. Something untouched. Something holy. It's only for my eyes to see, only for my hands to hold. It is time to ground in the process. No more running away from what is mine, for what is mine is divine. I am wicked and I am wild. Able to die 1,000 times without leaving this plane. I see mountains in the stratosphere. Heaven stretching for miles. I open my mouth to receive the sky. One half is black and the other is blue. Too much sun and you lose the truth. I refuse to bury myself alive. If I ever stifle myself again, tell me that it is a fate more painful than my heart can ever begin to contemplate my sister. Not to add fuel to the flames of your heartache, but you always deserved more than that fragile mate. I ask you, wild woman, if your heart could speak, what would it say? For God rays bleach my sky, and the clouds opens its eye. Like a flower I choose to close when your thundery weather seeks to encroach. I will no longer allow your unresolved pain to leave your mark on me, a stain, purple, blue, grey and green. The birds always let me know when it's time to retreat. Nature will never lead me astray. Flowers in bloom, flowers in death, ancient trees stir and creak all around me. Flesh tired and weary, I send them out a prayer, a reminder that when in love, life will forever remain fair. I'm a Cancer sun, Leo moon, bought and bloom. Spirit crafted from the tissue of the sun, I will always rejuvenate. Is this a woman or a phoenix you see in front of thee? It's snowing in spring. White petals gliding off my tree. The wind whispers silently, be still, child. For this is a day for shedding. Why should I fear my tears when it is my tears that shall feed these seeds? Does the sky feel shame for how she weeps? No. She simply weeps. And my tears shall be the blue ink for my pen. I will tell my tales until these days come to an end. For in these bones there are rivers of gold. In these bones I feel so very old. I was never accepted as I was, so I became who I needed to be to survive. But in this new life, it is time to find small and tender ways to thrive. So give me the sunshine. I'm ready to turn my face towards the light now. I shall rise so tall in my bloom. I shall rise. I am stepping into ownership of all that I am and all that was lost. To open the heart you have to start at the root. Remember your womb. I've enough jewels in my soils. Pearls and emeralds, rubies and obsidian. Treasure lies in us all. Treasure chooses to find us when we allow ourselves to fall. Thank you for listening. So, where to begin? Last we spoke, it was around the lunar eclipse, and that was rough. And I kind of traversed my shadow, which is very on brand for lunar eclipse time. And we had spring equinox, we had the solar eclipse, we've got the full moon this Saturday on the 12th. It's currently the 9th or the 8th? It's the 9th. It's Wednesday the 9th of April. And I will say that the spring equinox that whole week was some of the most incredible, joyful, abundant experiences that I've had in a very long time. So much friendship, girlhood, connection, community, receiving, giving with just total openness and pleasure, and so much honesty. And yeah, it was really beautiful. And then the week leading up to the solar eclipse, I just decided on the spring equinox this was going to be a week for total surrender, and surrender I did. And I spent every day for hours a day at my altar, just communing and meditating and being and receiving and praying and becoming. And I had a lot of ancestral themes come up. I had a lot of past life memories surface, and I was really clearing that within my system. And I got to watch the eclipse, which was my first ever solar eclipse that I got to watch, which was so cool. And I remember just feeling my life force just rejuvenating, rebirthing, resetting. And I really realised that that's the core of what a solar eclipse. Obviously, we know that solar eclipses are portals into new timelines, right? But it's a rejuvenation, a renewal of the life force energy that we hold inside of us, because that's what the sun is. It's our life force. And yeah, and then I've been kind of resting, kind of not. We'll get to that. So I said that I was going to rest because I was exhausted, and I look back, I don't think I truly succumbed to it. Now, this is going to be a really interesting episode because I'm about to get really fucking real. These last couple of weeks within my business, things have really slowed the fuck down, like scary slowed down. And I've had literally nothing come in at all. Now, the soul in me has been like, surrender, surrender, surrender. The human in me has been panic, panic, panic. And surrender has not been easy. Surrender has not been this like really peaceful, sublime experience that, you know, the soul seeks for it to be. My surrender has been literally just me burning myself from the inside out, constantly panicking and spiraling into these like anxious breakdowns and getting angry at life, at the universe. And yeah, I'm exhausted, and I ovulated a week later than I should have, which is very unlike me to happen. My cycle was very regular, very healthy, sort of like every 29 and a half days she's there, literally perfectly synced up with the lunar cycle in that sense. So this has been really intense, and I had a feeling that my cycle was going to change, because obviously if you purchase my ebook, you'll see that I've got 4 wild mystique bleed themes that I birthed many years ago, and they're in the ebook. And you can go to my Instagram link in my bio to get that if you want to. But anyways, this isn't about that. But I knew that my cycle was going to change. But I'm on day 32 right now, and I feel like fucking shit. It's been a very long time since I've had a cycle this long, and I felt this way. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to bleed. If it's based upon sort of 2 weeks roughly from when I ovulated, it will be this Saturday. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Who knows what my womb has in store for me. I just have to, again, surrender. So I think obviously my hormones been a bit skewed up. And actually, from what I've been seeing online, this has been happening to literally hundreds of women. So many of us have had our cycles shift and late and change, and it's been really confusing. But this has been a really, and when I say dark, I don't mean dark in the sense that, you know, many who aren't on this path don't understand, but if you're here, you know what I mean. It's been a really dark time. A lot of upheaval has been going on. We've had Mercury retrograde, we're in Venus retrograde still, although doesn't that end? Oh no, it doesn't end today. I was gonna say, wait, no, but I just realised it's the 9th of April. See, my luteal brain is just not working. And yeah, and then we're still in eclipse season. And so it's been a really intense time. I mean, I feel like we've just, astrologically speaking, we've always been in an intense time. It never seems to end. But this has been on a scale like never before. And I just feel like I've been so humbled, because around this solar eclipse, it was like, la 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 la, everyone else's life is on fire and burning all around me, and I'm just here in my little bubble and I feel great. And then like integrating it into the human aspect of reality has been just so exhausting. And I've not really been integrating at all. I've been integrating and then just sort of aborting the process and then panicking and flailing around and then forcing shit. And it's like, well, you wonder why you've not had any money come through in your business, babe, because you're not even in your flow. You're not in your abundance. What do you expect? Life is a mirror, ultimately. And I'm very wary of the whole, like, you manifested this, because I think a lot of victim blaming comes with that. So I'm not applying this teaching onto every single thing that I would ever say. But I do just want to say, like, this particular situation I'm in, like, I genuinely do believe that I did manifest this from the state of my energy. And I saw this thread today that was talking about what's the show on Disney with Raven? Was that called That's So Raven? I'm pretty sure it was. I can't remember right now. But yeah, I was talking about, there was this episode on Disney back in the day of That's So Raven, where she got this, you know, vision of this future that was not in someone's or hers or life's ego's favor, let's say. And so she did like everything in her power to stop it from happening, without realizing that the things that she was doing were exactly what made that situation happen. And I read that, I was like, that's literally me. That has been what I've been doing these past couple of weeks. And it's actually just laughable at this point. It actually... You have to laugh. This is the first time that I've laughed about it. So I'm going to give myself this, because it feels really good to laugh about my circumstances. And last bleed, and I've been hearing this for many years, but in spirals here, I am an artist first. And my last bleed, I heard, I am an artist first. Now, as I spoke about in my, I'm pretty sure, first podcast episode last year, I actually conceived this book in Rome, which was either November, December. I think it was December. It was December 23 that I officially conceived the book. And then I began officially working on it March 24. No, so I spent basically like a year officially, though I had been writing it for all those months before, but it wasn't the official thing, officially writing my book last year, this memoir of my womb. And just before the winter solstice, I got this intuitive knowing that I had to put it on pause. And me being me, I spiraled into mourning, which is also very normal, because that was a big creative death and ego death, and soul death and dream death. Like, everything came with that. But I did, obviously, like, I took it as like, I'm just not destined to be a writer professionally, and la 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 la, all this shit. And it's actually laughable. And then, of course, as I spoke about in the first episode, my nan died start of January, my maternal grandmother. And that has been, honestly, I live currently with my paternal grandmother, my grandma. So when I say my grandma, I mean my dad's mum. When I say my nan, I mean my mum's mum, just to make that clear now. But I currently live with her before, and I head to Rome on the 28th of April. But I currently live with her, and I have done since October last year. And I was actually living with my nan for like 2 years before, and I just like had to get out of that environment. It's really hard being the only able-bodied person surrounded by a bunch of sick people and a bunch of dying people, and that's kind of always sort of, for men, not always, but for the last like 10 years kind of been the story of my life. But also for most of my life it's been the story of my life, but it's just the last 10 years has really increased because my mum's sick as well, and out of all my siblings I've sort of like not been the only one, but I've definitely been one of the ones that has, well, and I'd say for the most part, you know, I'm the oldest of 6, like come on, that has taken on the burden of sort of caretaking in different ways of different people. And yeah, and I just had this like knowing after my life was just like burning in that environment of like, I have to go. And then within 2 days it was like, no, you have to go. And like the universe literally cleared everything. And then like it got like my mum and my dad, I guess, figured out, because they were desperate for me to leave that place. It was I had so many beautiful things happen. Hi, plane. Oh my God, it's like 2 jets. They're really low. What the fuck? That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, I had a lot of beautiful things that I was like really sad to let go of. Like that was the first time, apart from being at uni, that I ever had my own space. I've always shared a bedroom. There was like 8 of us living in a 3-bedroom house at one point when I was living at my parents. You know, it was like a lot. And I had a beautiful space that I created over the years. Like I painted the walls eventually. I painted the bookshelf this beautiful sage green colour. If you know me, you know that I love painted wood. Like it is orgasmic to me. And I would just constantly be having candles everywhere. And it was a big space. You just know my embodiment practices were like gold, and you can see that on my reels on my Instagram. Like just constantly dancing, and I dance all the time anyway, but like I danced more in that space at that point in my life than I ever have. But yeah, and it was really hard to let go of that. I had a lot of guilt leaving my nan, because I felt very responsible for her health. I felt responsible for her state of being. I felt responsible for her happiness, which isn't fair for me to put on myself. But she was just a very lonely woman, and typical eldest daughter style, I've always felt very responsible for everyone else's problems, needs, emotions, everything. So yeah, and it was really hard. But anyway, so I moved to my grandmother's. I can't remember the point of this story. I'm going to be so honest with you. I've kind of gone on a little bit of a tangent here. Let me just anchor back into what I was really talking about. I can't remember, honestly. But anyways, and I got that knowing, let's go back to the book story, of the whole, you need to stop. And then she died. And in the grief, I obviously have, and I'm still grieving, which is the epitome of what today has been. My grandma was out getting her hair done, and my nan has started to reach out to me from the spirit realm. And today was like the second official time it happened. The first time she came to me, it was around the solar eclipse. She came to me to tell my mum that she's trying to get in contact with her and has been trying. And it was like as though like my nan has been literally like screaming at my mum, and my mum's just like not been catching on to the vibe. And my mum is very gifted and very tapped in and connected spiritually, but you know, for her own reasons, not for me to speak about her journey, like she's just not been tapping into it. And but then today she came to me, and it's very much linked with the book. I'm going to get to that. So yeah, looking back now in hindsight, it's very clear there's a reason why I was guided to not write the book for a little bit and continue editing it and finishing it, because I was really close to what it was at the time, really close to being done with it. But there's more that needs to be added in now, I come to see and I realise. But and things I want to take out and change. So I'm really grateful for this time. But it makes sense because my nan was days away from being admitted, in like 10 days away from being admitted into hospital, and like 17 days away from dying. There's no way that I could shoulder and carry like the burden of that happening, and then also having this like big dream. And there has been such a rebirth that I have gone through her passing. And I wrote in my journal, I think the day of or the day after she died, I wrote, I'm never going to be the same after this. And I think that speaks for what all grief is like. It just changes you. But I knew, and I was writing about how this is my rise from like daughter consciousness into the truth of my womanhood, and I have things that I am here to do in terms of helping my family through this process, emotionally, spiritually speaking. And I just knew I wasn't going to be the same. You never are, and I've not been the same. And this book that I've been writing is very, it's deeper than just me. My nan was actually a writer. And she wrote a book many years ago. And without giving away explicit details in case, you know, certain people come across this and I get in trouble, but there was a certain man in her life who she trusted, who she told that she was writing this book. And he took the book without her consent and kind of showed it around to everyone, like literally took it out the house and like was flaunting it. And every time they'd be out for dinner with people, he would be like, so Helen is writing this book and it's really good. And like, she didn't want to talk about it. She was in that real secret incubating part of the process where it was sacred. And then he bought her a typewriter because she was writing by hand, and she preferred to write by hand because she felt more connected to the process, she told me. And he was like, no, you should write it on a typewriter. And she said it never felt the same. And so she gave up. She stopped writing. And I remember when I printed the book for the first time last year, I think it was October last year. It was literally a day before I moved. I finished the first draft officially and I printed it out. And I remember it was so emotional, and I remember texting people, like a couple friends, like showing them, and no one was responding. And I remember like trying to show my family, and like no one was really interested. And then I went to my nan and I showed her. And I burst into tears, and she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She was so happy for me. Because I think she knew as well. Whether she said it or not, I feel like she knew like how hard I had been working on it. Because I would say like, I would mention it. And I really did. Every day, I poured my heart and my soul into it. And that's why it was such a death. Letting go of that dream. And it's so funny because, you know, the dramatic Leo in me made this big deal of like, I'm letting it go and it's done forever. And I remember my best friend Karina being like, Caitlin, like, I don't necessarily think it's that. She's like, you might come back to it one day, you don't know. And I was like, no, Karina, it's done. And then I'd sit with myself and I'd get this knowing of like, but it's not forever. And I'd be like, yeah, but this is confusing because when? Because I had this idea in my head that the book was going to save me. I had this concept, this dream, this reality, my brain that I clung onto to like get me through the shithole that was my life. That also wasn't a shithole, that's a lie. Last year was like, I thrived creatively, at least I was fucking thriving. But like I had this idea that it was like, I was going to write this book and I was going to get it done by this time, and I was going to send it to loads of publishers, and then I was going to get like not publishers, to loads of agents, and I was going to get the perfect agent, and then the agent was going to like find me all these cool publishers, like my dream publishers, and I was going to get this like at least like a 5-figure book deal, and it was going to be amazing, and then I could travel the world and write my second book. And it was like I had it all fucking figured out, right? And the universe was like, bitch, no, 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 no. This is not how this shit goes. It's not as simple as that, because if you are a true artist, you know that the creative process is not linear. If there's one way in which we can practice living creatively, it's living cyclically. And what does our womb tell us? What does the moon tell us? What do the seasons of the earth tell us? That nothing is linear. Nothing is step by step makes sense. Oh, there's loads of horses riding. That's so beautiful. And I very much resonate with the energy of blossom right now. I really resonate with this blooming into something really pretty, but very soon after, this thing is shedding and decaying for deeper truth to emerge. And I feel like I'm in this like shedding, decaying, simultaneous birthing going on all at once right now. And it's fucking intense. That's why spring for me, I've never had like a free-flowing spring. I've never had a spring that's been like la 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 la, everything's perfect and everything makes sense, because it's just physically impossible for the energy to be like that. Spring in itself is a paradox. Because I'm looking all around me and I've got such beautiful, abundant, luscious greenery, but I've also still got the remnants of winter, the death left behind. Trees that still haven't even begun to bud, let alone bloom, you know? They're still dead, and that's okay. They're not dead inside. It's just the outward appearance, right? But yeah, spring I always find is really wild and really intense and really transformational, and is always a real deep portal into rebirthing. But yeah, and my mum, back to the writing, my mum has also been a writer her whole life too, and she also had the dream of one day writing a book. I still believe that she's going to. I see that for her a lot. My mum is just... Honestly, I think that I just wish she could see, I wish that she could see herself through my eyes and the eyes of love. That would make my life a lot easier if she did. In the sense of like, you know, just, you know, someone who you love so much, just actually loving themselves. Like, that's the greatest gift that you can wish for them to receive. So this is very deeply ancestral, this gift of writing, this dream. And recently my book has been coming back into my realm of awareness, I guess you could say, and I've been like having it pop into my space, and I've been like shaking it off, like no, kind of in a bit resistant to the idea, to be honest with you. And if there's one thing that is true, is that when you ignore your intuition, life will have no choice but to totally crumble for you to see the truth. Very much like blossom, very much like this pretty thing on the surface, shedding, rotting, decaying, to show you what it really is behind there in full truth. I've been ignoring and forcing my business, forcing, because that is what I should do. That is what makes sense. And because obviously we need money in this world, we live in a human reality whereby we need money to survive. Like, money is not the demon here. Money is not a bad entity. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the people that fucking wield it. But anyways, and violate it. But as I was saying, I was unconsciously, I've been leading with that. I've been leading with this fear of I'm not receiving money. And last year, I did go through a phase of having like official things in my business, but not really. I wasn't really fussed, to be honest with you, because my main priority was my creativity. And I just, the other day, just happened to go on my story archives on Instagram, which I never, ever do. And I went to April last year. Just, I don't know why, but I just did. And I was looking through who I was this time last year, and I was like, I miss it. I miss that me. I miss that life. Like, what happened? Like, I get it. It's like, since I moved, I've just been in this grief, in this death. And then I have a death of a dream. That was like the only thing that truly has been sustaining me. I had this death of a dream, quote unquote. And I stopped pouring myself into this book. And this book, when you have a creation that you're that intimate with, it becomes your your friend, your lover, your teacher, your mother, your father. It is your greatest confidant in your life. Like, you tell this thing everything. You like give so much love and tenderness and attentiveness and intention and devotion to it. And it was like literally going through a breakup. It genuinely was. Learning, like having, like going on a break. It's literally like I've been on a break with my creative lover. That's what it's been. And I was like, what fucking happened? Because I'm doing everything by the book. Like, I'm looking at my life as it is, and it's like, well, I've got great routines set in place. I am reading books that I like. I'm reading more than I'm watching shit most days, like, which, you know, I can get hooked on television like nobody's business. That's a big deal for me. But also, I love TV. I just spent the last couple of days binging Love on the Spectrum, the US one. And I've always been a bit like wary of that because I wasn't sure if it was going to be like really cruel about people with disabilities. But turns out it's not. It's a really good show. But anyways. And, but anyways, you can tell I'm running off of vibes. Like, there's no hormones in this body that's like helping me to sustain right now. This is pure vibes. And what the fuck was I saying? I don't remember. But yeah, it's been coming into my stratosphere again of book. And then and I was looking at April last year and I was like, this makes no sense because my routines are good and I'm doing everything right. I'm getting lots of nature. I'm, you know, I am. It's not like I'm not writing. I am writing. Look at my Substack. My Substack is got. I'm still writing. I'm making content. Like what's happened? And it's not that I'm not doing the things right, but first of all, I've just outgrown the place that I live. I outgrew this city a very long time ago. And not just that, but I've been forcing shit. And what I realized was that I did last year, for most of last year, I was in the deepest state of surrender and the greatest portal of abundance I've ever been in my life. I don't even know what happened, but it was just like, I just focused on my dream and everything aligned for me. I did what my body told me, my womb told me, my life force guided me to do. I became the process. I followed my intuition and shit just came to me. Money would just like come into me. So I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to worry about paying my bills. I didn't have to worry about XYZ. And granted, I was in a privileged situation that I was living at my nan, so I didn't have to worry about big bills like that. But I still have outgoings, right? But and I had money to like be able to like go to spoken word events and perform regularly. Like, everything was just so like, and I was having this like massive realization of like, what the fuck have I been living? What the fuck have I been doing? I thought, well, because that dream didn't work out, I now need to just like go back to my business and like give myself to that. And I've then just been giving myself away to this thing that actually isn't truly intended to be for me. Like, it's just one part of this great ecosystem that is my life, that is me, my energy, my resources, you know. It's not like I don't enjoy my business. I absolutely love the work that I do, but I don't even have the capacity for it to be my life. I struggle to do more than like one-to-one client a week. And that's not like a good week when I'm like not in like the deep depths of like the second half of my luteal phase or my menstruation. Like, maybe I can do like 2 on like a spring or summer vibe, but that's it really. Because I give so much energy and this like super high healing frequency into everything and anything that I do and into my healing spaces that it's like there is not enough money in the world that can buy that shit. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. Thank you, wind. The wind agrees. But I've just been pouring myself into this wrong place, and I've been ignoring recently the niggle, whatever that's been in the back of my mind. It's like, book, flowers bloom in winter too, come back. And then I had another breakdown a couple of days after that original breakdown, reflecting on last year. And my friend, Karina, she called me to check in, bless her. This was this week, actually, I think. No, it was last week. And she was like, what's been going on? I just like poured myself out to her. And I was just like, I feel so unseen. I feel just so like all these, because I've had a lot of triggers coming up, like a lot of like family triggers, a lot of like over mothering and over giving triggers, and just like being put in like compromised situations. And it's just it led me kind of into this state of despair, essentially, of just like, what the fuck am I actually, like, how did I even get here? It was that feeling of like, how did I get here? Because one minute I'm just like riding this high around the equinox and the solar eclipse, and suddenly I'm back to like where I was once upon a time. And how did I get here? Now, of course, there's no harm and there's no villainizing being here, because being here actually means that I get to sink deeper into my shadow to reclaim more gifts, more treasures, more jewels, as I literally spoke about in that. Like, the shadow is just the soil. That's all it is. It's just the roots. And we need deep, strong, sturdy roots. We need watered, we need fertilized roots and soil to really bloom. And that's just where I am right now. And but I also said to her, I was like, Karina, like, the book's been calling me. And I actually, that day, I was reading it, and I was just reading it, crying. And I was just like getting all these different downloads come through that I had been getting already, but I've been just like shoving them away, ignoring them. And just being like, no, not now, later. And then later never comes, because I don't let later come. And like the look on her face was just like this, I've been waiting for this. She just had this look of, I've been waiting for this, but she didn't say it. She hasn't said anything. She's like, it's not for me or anyone to tell you what to do with it, but you know. And that's the mark of a good fucking friend, because in my like victimized states, I just sit there, and for me, my greatest wish is to just have someone come and tell me what to do. But that's no empowered way of being. That's no sovereign way of being. And that's also not the way to be, because life is not this destination point to get to. Life is literally about the journey. It's the becoming. Hence the point in this podcast, and hence why, like, actually the irony of it is that I didn't intend for it to be this, but every time I get the urge to record something, I'm in just these really deep portals, and I come here for that self alchemy and the creating of it all, and the expression, which is the epitome of creating art as well. But anyways, and again, I sort of just haven't done anything with it, because I've been tired, but also like I think I've just been ignoring it, and I've been trying to force like money first, then I'll focus on it. Now, of course, money has not come through for me, as I said at the start of this, and I got to the point today where like it's actually impacting me in a way that like isn't not okay, that it was just like, right, I actually need to sit with this shit, because like what the fuck is actually going on? And when I'm in these deep states of panic and anxiety, I also can't hear spirit. I can't be in tune with myself, because in order to receive the downloads of spirit, you need to have a nervous system that is settled. And the same also goes for creating art. Like all these things are just so intertwined as one, because there's all one creator energy ultimately, and that's what all these things are linked with, and they are. And so I just let myself sink into my despair one more time. And then it was just like, right, I keep getting brought to this place because life just wants me to surrender. And I surrender for a hot minute. And then that same hour or same afternoon or whatever it is, I grip again. And I'm back on social media. I'm back sharing something. I'm back engaging with something that my energy does not actually want for me to do. I'm just going to take a pause here for a second. I just feel like I need to breathe for a sec. So you can breathe with me. With my snotty nose. Beautiful. Life first. Life first. Creativity first. Now, this is the challenge with where I am at, because everything in me, naturally so. Now, I'm not, by the way, recommending that people live how I live. This is just my story. This is my path. You do you. But I have to kind of integrate what I birthed into last year. That just like, I'm going to go for it. And I'm just going to have to see what happens. My worst case scenario is no money comes through. And then I'm fucked again. And it is what it is. My best case scenario is that everything begins to shift and clear. And there is a lightness that comes through and exists again. Because I'm not destined for this. We're destined for shadow work, yes. We're destined to descend, yes. Especially me with a womb, of course. But I'm not destined to suffer in this lifetime. At least suffer for the rest of this lifetime consistently. Suffering is a natural part of the human nature, but it's not the only part. And if it's the only part of your existence, you actually need to get fucking honest with yourself, which is what I've had to do. And to actually look at your life, look at your actions, look at your circumstances, and feel, has the way that I've been moving truly been serving me? Has my endless doom scrolling and disassociating really been serving me? Have I actually thought to go outside and sit with a tree or sit with the sun, the wind breeze, whatever it is, and just sit with myself and actually be with myself? And if there's one thing about me, I might run for a little bit sometimes because I'm not perfect, but there's one thing about me, I will always sit and face myself. And it's actually taken me a few portions of time, I guess, to sit with myself, to have the same realizations to get to this point. So then this morning I was looking at the book again on my Google Docs, and then I was reading it, and then I began to write something, and I began to add something to it, and I was like, that's all I want to give to it today, at least for right now. Maybe I'll do something later, probably not, we'll see. Pretty fucking exhausted after this great fucking load of alchemy, but anyways, it is, my energy will guide me, so I'm not stressed, I'm not worried. But and I was like, this feels fucking good. And then I go to the kitchen, and I felt my nan again for the second time. I felt her. I felt the support. And the one thing that I was always really upset that she wouldn't be here to witness was the first publishing of my first ever book. And there's a reason for that. She's actually a really big part of the book that I've written and I'm writing, because my story is her story and her story is mine. And she had to be in spirit for this to happen, for this to be seen. That's the reality. And she also had to be in spirit because we not only have shadows and wounds from our ancestors, but we have gifts too. And one of the gifts that my mother and I and whoever else, all of us in our family have gained from her, which I actually wrote about her in the eulogy, which is that she just wants us to live. And this is a woman who has spent her entire life living for other people. She gave up her body, her autonomy, her voice to have the life that she thought was best for her children. She used to sing, and she told me she stopped singing because someone would always tell her to shut up and to be quiet. She didn't sound good, and so she stopped singing. She loved to dance, but then her body was so crippled for so many decades that she would dance. There's videos of her dancing, but she could never truly move the way that her spirit wished for her to and yearned to. And she's inside of me and my mother and whoever else right now, just saying and breathing into us in spirit, live authentically. Live a life that is true to you. Live a life that is your own. And do not spend another minute, another second wasting it, because life is precious. And I do not want my testimony to be, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, I wish I just finished the book, I wish I moved to this place, I wish I took that leap to travel the world. I don't want that. I don't fucking want that. She's also supporting me to write it, to finish it, however long it takes. And I don't care how long it takes. I don't have a timeline. I often would have people asking me, like, when do you, like, expect to have it done, finish? And I'd be like, well, I'd say to them, I hope by next spring I'll have it sent off. But in my head and my heart, but also in my head too, I'd be thinking to myself, I actually don't have, I don't know why I just said that to you, that was a lie, because I don't have a timeline for this. But I certainly towards the end did rush it, because when I first moved to my grandma's, I felt as though I was taking up space in a place where I wasn't welcome to, which was not true, by the way, at all. Like, my grandma and I've actually had a really good time living together. Like, for the most part, of course, we're human beings and, like, shit happens, but, like, it's been really smooth sailing, and it's been a really beautiful, like, give and take, actually. Like, and I think a big challenge for me has just been, like, coming out of my shell more and allowing myself to take up space more than anything. 45 minutes we've been doing this already. It's crazy how time flies by. But yeah, and then ironically, when I was just literally, and then this song, and then we go to the screenshot on my phone, as I was feeling my nan's spirit and sobbing, cooking my porridge on the stove, literally weeping, this song comes on and plays, and it was Sam Cooke, Nothing Can Change This Love. And the premise of the song was just like, there's nothing that you can do that would make me love you any less. And I just was like, just felt her spirit infused into this song, and like a transmission from her heart to mine. And I just received it. And then my grandma walks in after getting her hair done and just sees me sobbing, trying to prepare my porridge, like chop up like dark chocolate and fruit to put on it. And she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm just thinking about Nan. And she came and held me and said some wise words about grief that we all know, but it's good to hear in the moment. But yeah, it's been such a process. Such a process. And the irony is that what I've really realised from it all is what I've always known all along. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to leave this here. So cute. Taking a moment to pause. I'm an artist first. And who knows, maybe I will continue through this creative process again. Now we're in spring, and I'll realise that I'm doing it all wrong again, and I'll be back here with another episode talking about more lessons that I've learned. Who knows? Who knows? But what I do know is that no one can truly take me away from me apart from me. And I know what my intuition feels like. I know how to live cyclically. I know what my energy feels like. I know what my essence is like. I know how it feels to lead with life force energy. And for whatever reason, I just got swept up. And it happens. But I'm not going to complain, and I'm not going to hate myself for seemingly going back, because I haven't backtracked at all. No, I've just gone deeper. And it's only in going deeper that you get to liberate more and empower more and become more and express more. And I'm so grateful that the book wanted to wait, because there are so many incredible things that I have to say to add in. There are so many incredible things that I'd like to take out, because I don't want it to be in this version that's currently being rebirthed and renewed. And I'm really, hiccups. I'm really excited. I'm clearing. I'm really excited to go on this process. And I don't know where it's going to lead. It could be that I get to a certain point and it's like, no, we just don't know. We don't know with these things. But what I do know is that I'm excited to have my friend, my lover, my confidant, my teacher, my parent back, my creation back. I'm excited to be able to have this ritual, this ceremony, this intimacy that is the creating of this book back. And yeah, I am an artist first. I am an artist first. Anyways, if you love this, please follow me on Spotify. Please rate my platform. Please share. Please drop me a message if you have any thoughts of your own. Please, I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I do have currently, my online store is fully stocked up with everything now. I say fully, it's like only a couple of products on there, but still I've got my A Pleasurable Period ebook on there now, which is a 200 plus page ebook on rituals, moonology, wild.mystique bleed themes, numerology, musings, everything in between, just activations on how to create the deepest, richest, most alchemical, pleasurable portal of your menses. I've also got a beautiful 45-minute guided yoni dearming practice, which is great for you to heal your relationship to your pussy, to your vagina, your vulva, your pleasure, to create greater sensation, to heal the trauma, to heal the numbness, the disconnect, the perhaps uncomfortable, sharper, more painful sensations within the pussy through really actively and co-creatively and intentionally massaging her. And it also includes a PDF with grounding guidance, aftercare, before care, and the 4 types of touch that we move through in that practice. And it's one that, again, with both of these products, you keep for the rest of your life. You get it by email on a Google Drive link, and that comes straight to your inbox when you purchase. And you just can go back to it as many times as you please. I love the yoni dearming practice. It's one that I love to do every now and then to really just sort of like ground me back into my body and clear anything that's there, because as you know, when we hold our emotions in and we carry shame in our body, it floats all the way down to our pelvic bowl. And I do certainly use my ebook every single cycle without fail, because I'm obsessed with my bleed themes, my moonology and my numerology. It really helps to guide me throughout this process. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. You can access all of this through the Instagram link in my bio, wild.mystique. You know where it's at. And yeah, I'm going to be leaving this here, hopefully uploading this today. It will be when it will be, though, ultimately. And I just want to say from my heart, my womb, straight to you, you are an artist too. And I love you. And I'm so proud of you wherever you are in your life right now. I hope that you're grateful to yourself, that you're proud of yourself too. And yeah, there's so much love within, around, here, just waiting for you to just recognize it, to tap into within yourself. And just know wherever you are at in life, it really is perfect. Even if it is chaos and pain and turmoil and confusion, it is so perfect. And let this really long, confusing story of mine be a testimony to that. And I'm by no means in this like magically like perfect place right now. I'm absolutely exhausted because of all that, and I'm so ready to just like I'm seeing Karina tomorrow. I'm ready to bleed is what it is. I am ready to fucking bleed, and she will come when she wants to come. But yeah, and I'm seeing Karina tomorrow. I'm so excited to spend time with her. But yeah, on that note, I'm gonna go. And yeah, I love you. Bye.